Greetings. This is TK Trav, aka Travis Magus, here with LVX777. Like most single parents, we have to share the time that we spend with our children. Like a lot of families across the world, I spend a few days out of the week with my son, sometimes less, sometimes more. In this particular instance, he stayed the weekend at my place. And as his mother came to pick him up, she began to tell me about what she did over the weekend. She mentioned how she spent most of the time in bed. And my question to her was it relaxing or was it miserable? And she mentioned that she spent most of the time crying. My reply to her was, what else is new? At that statement, she rolled up her window and drove off without a word. And as I walked away, I began to think to myself, I made her upset. Good, because I'm upset. And that's when I realized the thief that came and stole my awareness. Selfishness, emotional triggers. I realized that in a crucial moment where I had the opportunity to show unconditional compassion, I chose the flesh. And I chose to react out of emotions. She just experienced a loss. A friend of hers had died. She was one of the last persons to talk with him before his drug overdose ended his life. So in this video, I'd like to talk about loss. And I'd also like to talk about the danger of memory. When I sat with myself in contemplation immediately after, I began to question myself and my actions, to get to the root of things, to understand why in that crucial moment I chose to act out of emotion instead of acting out of spirit. Knowing that acting out of spirit enables you to communicate with the spirit in all things, and this continues the divine connection. So knowing this, with that knowledge, what is it that triggered me to stay in the flesh? So first I'll talk about loss. While in contemplation and meditation after this event happened, I realized I don't have, at first I thought I didn't have a very good frame of reference when it comes to loss, so it was very difficult for me to put myself in her shoes and understand the type of pain that she must be experiencing. And I failed to realize as well, my callous comment would be much heavier on her than I could imagine when I put myself in her shoes of someone who's just experienced loss. I began to think back to my past and how I never had any family members die, never had any friends die, never really had anybody that I was close to pass on. But as with real meditation and real deep searching, you eventually begin to uncover things that may remain hidden over years and years of rationalization. So I remembered my first heartbreak. I remembered that I had a best friend for 10 years. And I remembered that, wow, since that point, I have never allowed myself to get that close to another human being. See, I had a best friend from middle school and beyond, right? And we were close. We did everything together. Our personalities were almost merged. We were so similar. But I didn't notice that over time, there was a difference between us. And it seems that I had become an enemy. And I didn't even realize it. It seems that through my selfishness of my youth, and being so concerned just about me, I didn't realize that my friend was no longer my friend. So it happened that eventually I got with a nice girlfriend who I thought that I fell in love with. And long story short, she and he went off their separate ways without me. They went together, and I was now without a girlfriend and without a best friend. And that really shattered my reality as a young person, because, like I said, I spent every day and every moment of my free time. We even worked at the same jobs together. We were very close. But now I had to suddenly come to the realization that I no longer had this person to share my life with. And furthermore, I felt betrayed. I felt personally hurt. I felt the worst emotional pain that I had ever felt. And it was all I could talk about for months. I was so consumed. I didn't know what to do with myself. And there was no one who could relate. Nobody wanted to hear my sob story day after day after month after month after month. It was a very difficult place to be in. Loss. Because you can't fill in that empty space so easily. When you lose somebody in your life that you're close to, it's impossible to replace them. All sorts of thoughts begin to come up. What if I'd done this differently? What if I'd done this if I had more time? Was it my fault? How could I have not seen this coming? So many questions. It consumes you. It can really consume you. And through that deepest level of pain, I remembered an oath that I made to myself years ago, that I would never, ever feel this pain again, that I would never get close to someone that close that their absence would make me go through such pain. I swore that I would never, ever love like that again. And as I remembered this in my meditation, I realized that is the reason why I don't have any close connections. That is the reason why I don't allow myself to be that close to anyone. And that is the reason why I failed in that moment to see her situation from her shoes. My ex, my child's mother, and the fact that she lost her friend. I had made myself forget the pain of losing someone that you love, a friend, or even someone as close as you would consider them family. I failed to muster up the compassion and put my personal feelings aside. Now I say failed just for context of this conversation. I know that it's not a failure because the fact that I'm making this video means that I've thought about this and made a change. So I use failure just in context of this conversation. It's not a failure because the situation isn't over. I have tomorrow and the rest of my days. This is a valuable lesson. That might be a better way to put it. Loss is difficult. It's so difficult that it can really, really change your life, obviously. But I mean, it can change your life as far as how you see the world. Because now you have to see the world without that person. So with that being said, the second thing I wanted to mention was memory. And how memory deeply affects how we treat others in our lives. Why is it that I chose to be callous and cold in that moment? She just got her nose pierced, and when she came, she was so excited to show me, but I saw it on Facebook. So I made it a point to not mention it, not say a word about it. I can be a real jerk, right? But here's the thing. She felt felt that she was reinventing herself, becoming a new person. But in my mind, all that I could see and think about was the memory of who she used to be, of the person that shared experiences with me. My memory was locked as far as who she was. Now, there's a saying that goes around that there are millions of different versions of you, more like hundreds, but there's several different versions of you in everyone's mind. All the people that you meet in your life look at you and have a different perception of you in their memory, right? Your 6th grade teacher has a memory of you, and even if they see you now, 15, 20 years later, they have that memory as their frame of reference. That's why oftentimes you have parents who still treat their children like children, because they have literally spent their whole childhood together. And even though this child is now an adult making their own decisions, oftentimes parents still treat them like kids, right? It's difficult for some fathers to respect their sons. It's difficult for some mothers to let their children go because they still see the baby. This is why for some people it's very difficult to release relationships when it comes to breakups, because they have these memories of these moments that were shared and this ideal image of this person in their mind, even though this person may have moved on, much like my best friend from the past or my girlfriend at the time, or even my child's mother. We have memories in our minds of these people. I had memories of these people that were locked, so I couldn't see the changes that were happening in my friends as they were distancing themselves from me. I didn't notice the snide remarks or the comments or the actions, right? I dismissed them as, oh, they're just being whatever. But had I been aware in the moment, taking into account who this person is now, I wouldn't be deceived by the illusion of memory. This is why ego is part of the illusion. When we talk about the science from Dharana Darshan and insight meditation, focus meditation, it talks about how there's matter and mental states. These are the two components of the illusion, matter and mental states. Everything tangible is classified as matter, and it's one thing. The people you meet, the objects that you touch, it's all matter. It's not this person and that computer and this camera. It is all matter. Mental states are what the senses pick up and translate into information. And mental states are the thoughts created from that information. Mental states are also memories and intellect. And all the result of the data that's put together, the culmination of all the data that matter sends to the mind. These are the two components of illusion: the body and the mind. The thing about memory is we use it as a frame of reference. Instead of existing in the now, we always refer back to the memory. There's been comments on my channel of people who are unhappy with the direction of my channel, particularly the visuals. They don't like the lights and the music and the whatever. They say it's deviated from where it came from. These people have in their heads a solid memory of what they liked about me from 2 years ago. There's new people who find my videos every day, send me comments telling me how much they enjoy what they're hearing and sometimes what they're seeing. These people have this memory of me, and they're most likely going to base all future judgments on these memories that they're forming now. The same way that you in your life base your judgments of everything off of the memories that you've accumulated, whether these memories are founded on reality or not. If you're raised all your life told that this race of people is evil and this race of people will hurt you, those memories are going to accumulate, and every decision you make in your life is going to be based on those memories. Say you've got a company now and you're going to hire people. A member of this race might be extremely qualified and perfect for your job, but you're going to have a very difficult time selecting them because of the memories that were given to you, the memories that were accumulated into your mind. Memories are attached to emotions. So you're going to make emotional-based judgments. See, don't be fooled. We like to think that we're such logical creatures, but psychology will tell you loud and clear, we are emotional creatures. We make every decision based off of emotion, not logic. How many people do you know, or even yourself, have made decisions that you knew better, but you did it based off of how you felt? You did it because you were running towards pleasure or running away from pain. Now you see how we're starting to close this gap here. The illusion is made when you base your decisions off of running towards pleasure or running away from pain. And these things are built upon the memories that you've stored up over the years. So in that moment where I could have chosen compassion, instead of analyzing myself in the here and now and realizing that this was a new person that I was dealing with, this was not the person from my memories that I have these feelings attached to. This is someone new. Had I been able to do that in that moment, had I chosen to do that in the moment, because we can do it at any time. It's just, at every given moment, we have a balance, right? We talk about in Egypt how they weighed the heart versus the feather. That's not just happening during death. That balance is happening at every waking moment. That's why it's so important to stay present in the now, so that you can make the right decision. At every given moment, you're receiving stimulus from the universe. And at every given moment, you're having to choose between following the flesh, which is matter and mental states, which is body sensations, which is pleasure and pain response, or following spirit, which is a sense of understanding and having compassion with all sentient beings in existence. Whoa, that sounds like some loopy, crazy shit. No. This is the science of Buddhism, of Christianity, of Islam, of all the religions of the world that are worth their weight in truth. Remaining present in the now and choosing compassion. Compassion based on the fact that the same Holy Divine Spirit that is inside of you is inside of all things. And all things are constantly born anew. Why are they constantly born anew? Well, because that's just how it is. But also, the judgments that we put on things are based off of past experience. I am not the same person that I was 10 years ago. The people that the last time they saw me was 10 years ago would kind of have trouble adapting to the me now, because it is a completely different person. The same for you. I'm not the same person I was 2 months ago. My room doesn't look the same. My studio doesn't look the same. My house doesn't look the same. My city doesn't look the same. We're traveling through time, and things are evolving constantly. We're in the world of change. The cycle is change. The cycle is time. So to hold on to a memory is asking for pain, because you're judging this new thing based off of something old and dead. And when you make the choice to judge based on old and dead memories, you make a mistake and you accumulate more karma, you accumulate more illusion. Biology will tell you that your cells are constantly being renewed, and after about a year's time, you're literally physically a different person than you were before, because all of your cells have regenerated. All of existence is constantly changing. This is why you have to be flexible in your existence. You cannot be rigid and hard, or else you will have to be broken eventually. This is the world of transience and change. Everything changes in this world. Everything. And anything that refuses to change will be broken. It'll be forced to change. So in an effort to avoid, to run away from that pain of being broken, it's best to learn how to be as you are in the moment, and to see everyone and everything as the renewed creature that it is. This is how you're able to walk with compassion and live without judging people, right? What if the person that you love and you spend time with could not see past the person that you were back in the days when you were ignorant? What if, I don't know, somebody new coming to this channel who could gain a lot of information decided not to because they wanted to listen to someone who judged me based off of things that I did in my past that they may not have agreed with. The things that I did in my past don't necessarily echo everything that I'm doing now. And the same can be said about you or anyone, because this is the world of continual change. I learned a valuable lesson today. States of consciousness, higher realms, enlightenment, and all those things, they can be touched, but it takes constant work to stay there, because the gravity of humanity and the flesh and mental states, the gravity is strong, and they constantly pull at you. They constantly pull at me. This is what temptation is. Temptation isn't just sexual lust. There's a temptation to go back to drinking. There's a temptation to go back to doing all sorts of things that waste my time and waste my energy and waste my now. But the work is the cultivation of a spirit that chooses spirit over flesh whenever the opportunity arises. Just like in the Bible, when the devil tempted Christ on the mountain. He could have came at any time. As a matter of fact, he did come in his lowest moment when he was in the Garden of Gethsemane. He was tempted, but he chose spirit. It's a lesson. It's a metaphor. That's what this is talking about. In order to choose spirit, you have to be aware of the moment right now. So yeah, you already know. I'm gonna have to make that phone call. It's all good though. I love the human experience. Kinda. Hopefully this message will definitely resonate with some of you. And for the rest of you, hopefully this can help you just be aware of when you're in the moment and the flesh decides that it wants to make the decision. You can decide to make the decision of going towards spirit. But hey, this is TK Trav, aka Travis Magus, here with LVX777. I love you guys.